The first being that we're going to be recording. The second being that my good friend Paul Leibowitz is here this morning to enlighten us. Where is
Good morning.
There he is. Nope, that's Alice. There he is. Okay. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Keller Williams. I am Paul Leibowitz of Westport Mortgage, where we are always helping realtors sell and helping buyers buy. Now, one of the questions we get asked a lot is, why should I use Westport Mortgage instead of my local bank or one of those online brokers? Well, you already know that we're local and we're available. We have offices in Ridgefield, in Stamford. We have our office in Westport. And you should also know by now that Nancy, Bill, Karen, and I are all seasoned professionals, and we've all handled every imaginable type of loan scenario. But what might surprise you is that in most cases, Westport Mortgage can offer your buyer lower rates than those other guys. Now, if your buyer calls their local bank or goes online, they can only get that one rate from that one day from that one lender. As an independent mortgage broker, we use sophisticated pricing software to search wholesale rates from over 30 of this country's biggest mortgage lenders. Now, that means that we know out of all those lenders, which one of them is the lowest rate on that given day. Now, let me give you two examples. Recently, a Keller Williams agent had their buyer call us, even though they were pre-qualified with another lender. That buyer had been quoted 2.875% on a 30-year fixed, but with points. We were able to offer that buyer 2.625, 0.25% lower with no points. Now, here's another example. Last week, a buyer was quoted 2.75 on an FHA purchase. Instead, we were able to get them 2.25, 0.5% lower, saving them thousands of dollars on their mortgage. So the bottom line is, if you want your buyers to get the best rates from a local, reputable source with lots of experience, and if you want to ensure your transaction closes with happy customers, send them our way. Westport Mortgage, your low-rate mortgage partner since 2007. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Paul. As always, we appreciate you, your time, your valuable info, and your insight into all things financing. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. A couple of quick calendar reminders for you. Today at 1 o'clock, we start our month-long panels extravaganza with a panel on tech and social media. However, specifically, tech tools that people are using to on the tech side and on the social media side to stay connected with their database and make sure that their database, when that database thinks of real estate, thinks of them. So a really important panel for you today at 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow we have a rentals panel, which we encourage you to plug into for all things rental. And then, of course, Wednesday, the highlight of our week this week, we will have a pre-Mega Camp Mastermind. That focus is going to be on ending your year strong. I know it sounds like kind of a little crazy to be talking about ending your year at the first week of August. However, guess what? We're kind of wrapping down the year in terms of an ability to write business that will close and get us paid before New Year's. So we are kind of looking at all things wrap up end of year in the next couple of weeks and months, and wanted to start that off with you with a special guest appearance by your Vice President of Industry, Jason Abrams. So be sure to carve that time out. And someone remind me, is that 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock on Wednesday? It looks like 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock on Wednesday for that mastermind. We'll only be about 50 or 60 minutes or so. So carve out that hour on Wednesday, if for no other reason than to show Jason your love. Alrighty, so it's funny, I was preparing to talk to you this morning and thought, it's Monday. Have I been doing a listings update on Mondays or on Wednesdays? And I thought about it and I thought about it and I just couldn't remember. So I don't know what that says about where I'm at this morning. So you're getting a listings update, whether you need it, like it or not. because I simply couldn't remember if I was supposed to do that today or on Wednesday. So I'll probably do it again on Wednesday and keep you massively updated. I'm going to practice over communication today. So I'm modeling over communication for you. How's that? So your listings update, as you know, July and August, 62 days. The goal is 300 new listings in those 62 days. We have put 39 of those 62 days behind us already, believe it or not. And so after 39 days, we should be at 189 new listings, 189. Where we're at, if you don't include rentals, is 216. So you are still blowing it out of the water. However, here's the point I wanted to make to you today. You're blowing it out of the water at a slightly lower rate than we have been, right? Because the where we should be and where we are is getting closer than the last few weeks of me reporting, right? That had been growing and we're getting close. So I just want to bring that to your attention so that we don't take our foot off the gas. Keep focused on where your next listing is coming from. Get that documentation signed, get that into your MCAs and onto the MLS so that we get those numbers under our belt and reported back to you. With rentals, by the way, we're at 273 out of the 189. The number, though, that we're really looking to focus on is that 216 out of 189. So you're still operating solidly at about 110 or 15% of stated goals so far. Let's stay focused on that and make sure that we end as strong as we began. Any questions on where we're at or what we're focused on in terms of listings? Anybody want to unmute and tell us where their secret listing came from this week? Okay. Just thought I'd ask. All right, so quickly for you this morning, I wanted to spend a little bit of time and give you a couple of lessons that I learned last week. And this is my segment called Lessons I Learned from Tony Bennett, right? And so last Thursday night, Steve and I were blessed to be in the audience at Radio City Music Hall to see Tony Bennett for his 95th birthday sing for the last time, which is how it was billed publicly, with Lady Gaga. And watching that entire evening unfold from the time we got there at about 7 until the time we left at about 11, there were just so many things that I monitored and noted, business lessons, life lessons, things to think about. And as I was thinking about this morning, I thought, well, I think I'm going to share those because there's a reason I was in that seat, in that room, listening to those two people do what they did. And what I believe is that I was there to kind of pick up these lessons and then bring them back to you this morning. So here are the top 5 things I learned from Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga. And let me just give you an outline of the evening. It was billed as Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga one last time, and billed as a duet concert. And that was kind of less true than more true. What occurred was Lady Gaga came on and did a set of about 45 or 50 minutes or so of American standards. She didn't do her own, pop stuff. She did like the Great American Songbook, which kind of blows you away. And then she sang him on, and then he came on and did a solo set of about 30 or 35 minutes or so. And then she came back on and they did about a 20 or so, 25 minutes so duets set, and then kind of wrapped the evening. So it was really more 2 solo concerts with the 2 of them together at the end. And that's only important because of some of the lessons will make better sense to you if you understand the structure of the evening. So lesson number 1, be prepared. If there's one thing that I couldn't help but notice, right? This was a one night only concert that actually got stretched into 2 concerts because of demand, right? But the whole preparation, the orchestration of the entire evening, them learning the songs they had to learn and in what order and how this was going to go, and doing the rehearsals and working with the orchestra and all that stuff. The whole thing was designed for one night only. If that's not a level of preparation, I don't know what is, right? They both showed up knowing exactly what they needed to do and how they needed to do it. Again, for one night only. This isn't like some concert tour that they have on the road for 6 months. It's not like a Broadway show that opens and then runs open-ended, right? Again, this was designed for one night only. And that level of preparation just kind of blew me away for a 2.5 hour experience, right? Learn your lines with everybody else's, just in case. That's something I've learned as someone who has been on the stage. Always know your lines. As you may know, Tony Bennett is 95 years old, and a number of years ago was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And so from the perspective of what Lady Gaga had to do to make sure that she was prepared to share the stage with someone who was 95, fragile, and experiencing memory issues and cognitive issues, to me just shows a whole nother level of preparedness. And I was just so impressed with that, right? You need to have some kind of a plan just in case something goes sideways there, right? And the last thing I'll talk about preparation is on the Tony Bennett side. Because even though he has cognitive issues and short-term memory issues, he has been doing those songs so long that they are just a part of what he wakes up and can do, right? So it reminded me of that phrase, practice until you just can't get it wrong, right? Tony Bennett has spent an entire career practicing those songs so that even at this later stage in his life, where there's some issues in terms of his health and his abilities, he was still able to get up there and stand for 35 minutes and deliver song after song after song after song. There was not one time where he forgot a lyric or missed a cue or was behind on the beat, right? I mean, everything was just spot on because he is so practiced. He just can't get it wrong, even in a weakened state. Number 2, be selfless. Be selfless. One thing I learned by watching the two of them was what happens, the magic that happens when you take ego and put it in your pocket for a while, right? Now, I would assume that each of you would say both Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga come with strong ego strength, right? They're both superstars in their own right, from different ages and different eras, but both superstars in their own right, both massively talented people, both very successful. But what they were able to do for the time they shared the stage was take that ego and actually put it away for a while, especially Gaga, because she made this entire night about him. Even though 50% or better of that room at Radio City was there to see her, and just by looking around, you could tell who was there to see her and who was there to see him, right? It was pretty visually simple to figure that out. But she didn't make it about her. She very much played the role of the opening act for a legend performing for his audience for the very last time. And the deference with which she gave him throughout the night just so impressed me, right? It was always about him. It was always about making sure he was recognized. It was always making sure that she stepped back so he was in front, right? And that just very much impressed me. So what does it mean to make it about the person sitting across from you and not about you? What does your result look like when you put your ego in your pocket? Number 3, be directive. Be directive. Help people get where they want to go way more proactively than you may be doing now. When she came back on, and when she came back on and they invited me up to have a conversation. No, when she came back on and they did their duets, there were times that if you were paying attention, you could tell what she was doing was helping him orchestrate and navigate through those duets. She would say things like, hey, Tony, why don't we do Anything Goes? Hey, why don't you start, right? She would say things that were directive to him to help him make sure that he didn't look foolish and that he was still out there to shine, right? Again, by putting her ego in her pocket, but by being directive. And many of you have heard me say this a number of times, that one of the things I think that we misinterpret about our role with our clients is that clients hire us to be directive. They hire us to take them by the hand and gently pull them forward through a transaction. And when you sit back and don't do that, your clients are wondering why you're not doing it. And I was reminded of that by watching what Lady Gaga was able to do with Tony Bennett and help him be, and by being directive, help him forward to get the result that he ultimately was looking for. So a really good reminder for me. Number 4, be confident. Be confident. If your audience is concerned that you're going to screw it up, they don't sit back and enjoy the ride. They're tense. And I have to be honest with you, right? I was pretty certain that she was going to come out there and kill it. And I just wasn't sure what we were in for when Tony Bennett was coming on, right? Again, he's 95 and he's impaired in terms of his cognitive abilities. Guess what? He walked out there, and the second he started his first song, you just kind of knew, you know what? This is going to be all right. Because the level of confidence with which he came out there and still delivered those songs just allowed everyone in the audience to relax. And it reminded me of the power of confidence, right? When you bring that level of confidence to the table, the people around you relax. And it's far easier for people to say yes to your question of, will you hire me? When they are relaxed and confident in your confidence. Number 5, be fearless. Number 5 is be fearless. Be willing to fail. Imagine being 95 with Alzheimer's disease, or being 35, as Lady Gaga is, and agreeing to share the stage with a legend, yes, but a legend who at any time might forget where he is, right? That's a level of fearlessness from both sides that I just so admired, right? They both stood up and said, you know what? This could be a little bit risky. However, let's do it. Let's just fearlessly go and do this, not for us, but for the people who are coming to see what we can do, right? And I just loved that level of fearlessness that each of them brought to the table. So be prepared, be selfless, be directive, be confident, be fearless. Want a bonus? Be entertaining. Be entertaining. Remember that real estate doesn't have to be so serious all the time. What if you decided to crack a joke or have some fun or tell a story or do something goofy? I think people respond to that side of you that's human better than they respond to the buttoned up, I'm always serious all the time. This is real estate, sign here. Don't forget this. This is how the process works. Right? So I think you're more attractive to people, to your database, to your clients when you are more human. So bring that level. And let me leave you with this, because I actually wrote 2 bonuses and decided that I would give you both. Bonus number 2 is this. What I learned on Thursday night by walking away from that show was that it's not all about the high notes. It's not all about the high notes. Here's what I mean. Tony Bennett sounded most of the time like Tony Bennett. His voice sounded great. He struggled with the high notes. Now, if any of you have ever been to see anybody sing who's over 50, who sounded one way when they were less than 50, they usually don't sound the same once they're over 50. The high notes are hard for everyone as we get older. Everyone struggles with the high notes. And Tony did too. He struggled on a couple of the high notes. He was fearless, though. He pushed them out, whether they were right or wrong. He pushed them out to make his point. However, here's what it reminded me of. When we think it's all about the high notes, we operate from that level of it always has to be perfect. And I will tell you that sometimes you have a far more effective opportunity if you will just go out there and do your thing and not worry about the high notes. Because guess what? If everything else falls in place and you bring a level of selflessness and directive, and you're confident and you're fearless, you're prepared for what you have to do, people forgive if you don't always hit the high notes. So just remember that, right? Be ready and then just go. Guys, I hope this was helpful for you this morning. They did record, by the way, this concert, and so it will be available on some television special or HBO or something. I forgot, I don't know who was recording it, but do watch for it, because I'm curious to see your thoughts when you watch the two of them do what we saw them do live last week. With that, my good friend, Adonis, who hopefully we're on number 46 today, Adonis, am I correct in that?
Yes, I believe you are correct in that for sure.
Okay, brilliant.
Today. So yeah, Marty's going to take us through more designs so you can be confident in your confidence, right? Let's do it. I definitely want to see that show now.
With Squarespace, editing and adding pieces.
Good morning, Keller Williams, and welcome back to the KW Command 66-Day Challenge 5.0, and today is day 46. So today we are going to jump in further to designs. Yesterday we talked about creating a social design. Today we're going to show you the process of creating a print-based design, specifically a postcard that we'll be able to use later on inside of campaigns. So as a reminder, designs is our paintbrush icon. So we're going to come into designs. And again, to create a new design, we'll come up to the top right, click on create design. And today we want to choose print. So we'll select print and then go into next. Now typically postcards, they can be used for a lot of different reasons, but I see just listed, just sold being the two most popular reasons you would send out a postcard. And those two styles of postcards are available under the listings category. And if you come in, you can see just listed, and there will be standard postcards, and then we've got just sold as well. And so here are the just sold postcards. By the way, if you like one of these templates and you want to use it for just listed, guys, it's not difficult. You can go in and just change out just sold for just listed, right? Pretty simple and easy switch there. So here's the just sold postcard. Let's go ahead and click on use to open the postcard. Now there is a little bit of nuance inside of the postcards. The first being, this is a front and a back. And so with our social design, we only had one page. On these designs, in the bottom right-hand corner here, you can see pages, and it'll actually show us page 1, which we're looking at, and then page 2. When we click on page 2, it'll open up page 2 on the back. So page 1, very similar to our social design, several text boxes that we can come in and edit. Again, if you wanted to use this for just listed, you could just come in and change just sold to just listed. All right, not real hard to do. We would just spread that out a little bit and spread that out a little bit, maybe recenter just slightly. Wait for that blue bar to know that we're centered, and there you go. There's your just listed postcard, right? In this case, you would want to take out the sold and change it to listed at. So we can do that. Let's just do it live and delete that. And here we're going to move this over, wait for that blue bar to know that we're centered. And there we go. So now we have literally just taken our just sold postcard and changed it to a just listed. Again, guys, a lot of room for creativity inside of designs. Next, we've got the photo here. That's not a photo of our listing. I showed you how to do this earlier, but we would come into the KWLS system. We would look up my friend Laura's amazing listing, 2607 Morgan Fair. Guys, I just can't get over this listing. It's just such an amazing house. If only I had, what was it, $3 million laying around. So we'll select this listing. Let's pick another fun photo. So maybe we'll change out this photo with this photo, right? What an amazing rotunda. So we're going to change the price. What was the price? Listing details tells us that it is listed at 3.1. And so we're going to change that really easily. And there we go. To save time, I'm not going to go through and change out the rest of the material. You guys have seen us do that. But basically, we would come down and change the address and then change the information here. Now we can transition to the back of the postcard. And so in this case, they have hygiene on a lot of these. Unfortunately, we cannot bring the name of the person into the postcard. So we're going to go ahead and just take that out. I'm going to move this text box up a little bit. And then what I would recommend is you might put in here the public description of the property that you may have to pull from the actual MLS, right? So you can see this is just pulling a portion of the property description and not all of it. So you might have to copy and paste that in from your actual MLS. Oh, it actually did pull it. It's just pulling it. Let's see. So if we take this and let's get all of that out of there, save changes, and then if we do this, can we drop that in there? All right, so we can. It's just really big font. So let's take this down to 8-point font. There we go. Now we're cooking with grease, right? And so if we do that and we do that, right, let's move that in just a little bit. And here's another thing that I can tell you. Right now, this is all real jumbled up, right? Right on top of each other. If you come over to this button up here at the top, you can see the spacing option. And so right now there is 0 spacing between lines, words, or letters. If we move this to the right, and I'm going to move it to 1, let's see, I can move it just to 2, right? And you can see it starts to take up a little bit more space. If I do letter spacing, that spaces out the letters. That looks a little bit different, right? So you can kind of play with this. And then if I do word spacing, right, that looks a little bit more manageable to read right now, in my opinion. So that's how you can kind of change the different spacing on the letters, the lines, and the words, and play with that to make sure that it makes sense for you. Next, we've got our headshot. So we want to come over to images and change out the headshot. Since I've selected this headshot, I can just click a replace image over my agent photo. I would come in here and change out the name, change out my branding. Here's the team logo. Here's my Market Center logo. I'd want to get my download app code, which I can get from my marketing profile as well. And once I have this back completely done, then it's a matter of downloading the postcard so that we can use it later on in campaigns. So you're going to make all of your edits to your front. You're going to make all of your edits to your back. And once you have the front and the back exactly as you want them, you're going to come over and change the name, right? We forgot to do this on the last one, so I want to make sure we do this on this one. So this is 2607 Morgan Fair, and let's say just listed PC, right, for postcard. All right, perfect. So now we've named our file or our design, and we want to download it. So I'm going to click on download. And with your postcards, you want to make sure that you choose the PDF for printing option. You also want to make sure that you choose include bleed and make the use manual bleed option at 0.125. The last thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have only selected the first page. We want to download page 1 separate from page 2, so you'll have 2 different files. So I can click on download. This is now going to download page 1 as a PDF unto itself. So now I'm going to click on page 2, and I'm going to do the download process one more time. And you can kind of see it at the bottom of the screen. This is the PDF that just got downloaded. So now I'm going to click on download one more time. PDF for printing is selected. Include bleed. Use manual. 0.125. Page 2 is selected. And now I can click on download again. So we're going to get into campaigns later on in the challenge, and I'm going to show you how you can do a direct mail campaign using these actual postcards that we just downloaded. So that's it for today, just kind of showing you again one more thing that you can do in designs. We've done social, we've now done print, we'll get into email and video here very soon. But until then, I'll look forward to talking to you then. Hope you have a great day, guys. Thanks.
The truth is that
All right. right, so more designs. Now you know a little more. Some of you maybe knew this already, but tomorrow we're gonna do custom marketing update videos using design. So tune in for that, and we will see you next time. All right, bye everybody. Herm, Connie, Debbie, Alex, Nicole. All right, see you. Bye-bye.